Nikon Zf camera got so much love and support for its looks and retro style, and also for its specs on the surface. However, most people are not aware of some of its hidden features. I call them secrets. So this video is going to demystify some of that mystery, so you don't want to miss it. So this camera is arguably one of the more highly anticipated cameras for 2023. And while I call things as secrets, they're really not a secret. It's not something that just Nikon is hiding it under covers and not letting everybody know what's inside of this camera, or what other things that you could do or how to do certain things with this camera. However, there is a reference guide which is 879 pages for the Nikon Zf, and most people don't read this, including myself. However, when I decided to take time and take a closer look what I can discover about this camera, I want to be able to share with you, and hopefully you guys will appreciate as well. And by the way, if this is your first time on this channel, welcome. Please like and subscribe if you find this content helpful. However, if you are a current subscriber already, welcome back, and take up a cup of coffee and sit back and listen to this. Now, one of the reasons why this camera was so highly anticipated is because it obviously mimics this beautiful retro style. And one of the retro cameras, what they had in the past was one of their, what it's called, soft release button screws, and where you're able to use this little screw inside of the shutter button to be able to trigger the camera. Now, with many other cameras, they actually have this inside screw that you can actually attach one of this little tiny red soft release button, and I'm gonna get you a little bit of closer up here. I'll let you guys see what it looks like, and let me know what you guys think. Did you know about this one? Is it the first time you're hearing this? What kind of button do you use for this specific purpose? I kind of like the red one. It's actually very nice. Your finger softly sits inside, and I really appreciate how it feels. However, there's another button that also caught my attention, and this button is also has a red top. However, it's kind of a little bit black on the sides and has this kind of feel. Okay. So guys, let me know what button do you personally prefer. I kind of like this one a little bit more. It does stand out, maybe not so much from the distance here that you can see, but more from the top. So one of the secrets that Nikon has is to be able to buy one of these buttons, and they're really not expensive. I'm actually going to put a few Amazon links down in the description box below. If you guys want to pick these up, I think will be pleasantly surprised to be able to accessorize your Nikon Zf camera in the future. Or maybe if you already have one, please let me know which one did you purchase and how do you like it. All right. Mystery secret number 2 about Nikon Zf. Now, what's the deal about this pixel shift technology, and how do you use it in camera, and how can you actually achieve the 96 megapixels that Nikon claims? The camera automatically shoots a series of NEF, which are raw files for Nikon, changing the position of the image sensor with each one. The photos can be blended using Nikon's NX Studio software to create a single high-resolution image. So in order to demonstrate that, let me walk you through, and I hope it's going to be much easier for you to understand when I actually have a drone here. All right, so how does pixel shift actually works? Well, and when it's used? It is used for buildings, landscapes, and static objects that are used on a tripod, because the camera actually is able to take 4 different sets of frames, and we're going to start with 4 frames, 8 frames, 16 frames, and 32. Now, there is a difference when you are taking different number of frames. Let me walk you through. 4 frames and 8 frames actually will end up with 24 megapixel files. And megapixel files basically stands for millions of pixels. MP, megapixel, equal to million pixels. And you generally will end up anywhere from 17 to 18 megabytes per file. And 24 megapixels, it is a 6048 times 4032, and this is how you get approximately 24 megapixel images. Now with 4 frames and 8 frames, the difference here is with 4 frames you have a better color reproduction. With 8 frames, you do have a better color reproduction, but also what camera does, it reduces the noise. Now with 16 frames and 32, you do end up with a 96 megapixel file, which is 12,096 by 8,064. With 16 frames, you do have a better color reproduction, which generates the 96 megapixel file. However, with 32 frames, you do have a better color reproduction, and also you have reduced noise. And that file typically is about just under 500 megabytes. Yes, it is a large file, but this is how it works. In fact, when you generate and combine those images, you get .nefx file extension. It basically depicts that this is a combined pixel shift file. Now, one important thing to note is that this pixel shift is not done in camera. And this leads me to our next secret that I'm going to talk about now. Now, one of the secrets, or the next secret that I want to discuss is to note the fact that the pixel shift is actually not done in camera. It is done in post-processing, and specifically in a Nikon NX Studio, which is version 1.5.0. Now, pixel shift shooting is with an electronic shutter only. And how do I know this? Well, it is actually noted on page 480 of the reference manual that you probably did not read. So you will see that it is only electronic shutter only, is used regardless of the option selected for the shutter type under the D5 menu. So when you go to your D5 menu and you try to find this shutter type, there is three different options: is auto, or it's electronic shutter, or it's mechanical shutter. So whenever you're using pixel shift, it uses regardless the type of the shutter selection that's made. It only uses electronic shutter. Now, one other thing to note is image quality is shot only in RAW, and that the pixel shift is combined together in Nikon NX Studio, as I mentioned, version 1.5.0. Now, currently it's not available in Lightroom, and however, it is relatively simple to be able to combine it in the Nikon NX Studio. So that's my secret number 3. Guys, if you found these tips and tricks helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing. Now, let's talk about the secret number 4. Now, let's talk about the mystery of the black and white dial. Somehow there's a misconception that when you shoot in black and white, all the images are baked in JPEG. And it is true to an extent. However, you can change your settings and you can shoot JPEG to one card slot and RAW files to the second card slot, even though initially when you bring them to, let's say, Nikon NX Studio, they will show up as black and white. You can actually change those settings and make those settings to be in color, so you do get to preserve that image in color if you wish to. However, I think most people do choose to shoot in JPEG because they're kind of going for this look, and this is what this camera presents: ability to be able to shoot in black and white, and that's one of the primary reasons why Nikon actually added this specific function into this camera. And finally, last but not least, is a face recognition with manual lenses. Now, Nikon Zf is the first camera in Nikon Z lineup to have this feature. While this feature is not a magic, what it does when manual lenses are used camera recognizes that there is a face in the frame and places an IAF focus point to a person's face or an eye. However, you still have to use the manual lens focus ring on the lens to actually dial and get your subject in focus. Now, this is a pretty new feature on Nikon's cameras, and Nikon Zf is the first camera to have that. I suggest that you guys try this out and see how it works for you. But in my personal opinion, I think this is a very lovely feature, and it helps you to have an idea once you're focusing on a subject. So guys, I hope that you found these tips and tricks interesting and entertaining. Please like and subscribe. This allows me to make more content like this for viewers like you. Thank you.